like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV preview for Bournemouth versus West Ham United Premier League clash on Sunday. To my right, you know who he is, WestHamOnline, aka West Ham burner account online, aka the most hated man on Twitter. WestHamOnline, how are you, man?
I am very well after yesterday's incredible victory.
Yeah. Last night was unreal, if I'm speaking honest truth. We will talk a bit about that before we get into this preview. And for me, last night shows that the boys have got it in it. Simple as that. The boys have got the goods. They just got to deliver the goods regularly and be consistent. And if they're consistent, we win this thing this season. Simple as that. Give us sort of like you spoke last night, done the late player ratings with me. Give us sort of your lowdown on the morning's events, basically.
I think it's a very positive win for the club. I really hope we can build on it and try and get at least a point or even a win against Bournemouth, because what it will do, if we start picking up the points in the Premier League now, we can start resting players when we get near the semi-final and start worrying a bit less about the relegation battle. But if we don't get it wrapped and suddenly teams start getting back close to us, then it affects us in Europe because we might not be able to play certain players and stuff like that. So, yeah, obviously it was a great win. And I think, as I said a few weeks ago, this season's been poor in the Premier League, but the season in general is far from over. We've got a lot left to enjoy this season, and hopefully the season will be as long as possible. And by that, I mean reaching the final.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. I see different West Ham over the last two games, though. I will say that. Like, I don't know about you, but against Arsenal in the second half, I started to see the old West Ham starting to appear, like the good West Ham, not the crap one. And I'll be honest, if we continue the way we're going, we will be safe. That is a given, and we will win the conference. Like, AZ Alkmaar is going to be a challenge. Don't get me wrong, especially the second leg being away from home.
Not ideal.
But it is what it is. At the end of the day, if West Ham could do the damage at home, go over there and set up in a sort of stance to basically not lose the game over there, then we've got a golden chance. But as I say, we will see what happens with that. Let's get into this. Obviously, Bournemouth Sunday. I think it's 2:00 kickoff, if memory serves me right. What are you saying on this one, Alfred?
Is it on the telly, by the way?
I don't think it is, mate.
Oh, for flip's sake. Well, what I am saying is I'm annoyed it's not on the telly. I'm going to have to get a crappy stream up. Bournemouth are a side in form. 3 wins in their last 4 Premier League games. I watched their last game against Tottenham with a dodgy stream. I hope I don't get arrested. And they looked good. They looked decent. I'd say Tottenham were architects of their own downfall in that game, but Bournemouth were really good. They got some good, exciting young players. They signed that Dango. I can't remember where they signed him from, but I think it was Liga.
France, I think.
Yeah. And he looks a promising talent. Solanke started to improve. Bournemouth striker in recent weeks, he's done really well. And they've just made some cheap signings that have done well. When you look at it, they didn't spend a lot in the summer transfer window at all. They brought in Joe Rothwell, who's been a revelation in midfield for them, Ryan Fredericks, and the rest of their business really was, and Neto, sorry. And the rest of their business really was done in January. They've not spent a lot, yet they look like they're going to stay up. And Forest, who spent a lot, look like they're going to go down.
Big up Steve Bell. Thank you very much, mate, for joining, and Damien and all. For me, this is the game, and we will talk about it in the next sort of subject, but this is the game for me where West Ham win this, they're safe, in my opinion. And then the rest of the games you can rotate, use your sort of second string sides to sort of get over the line. Gary O'Neill, I've got to be real, it's fucking impressed me, mate. Like, he seems to be doing it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And it's always the managers that you think ain't going to do it, and they end up doing it. So, yeah, like the last 3 games, I think they beat Liverpool. I think they beat Spurs. I'm not sure who the other team they beat, but they went away from home and I think they beat them. But I'm quite shocked and surprised. I would have had Bournemouth nailed on to go down this year. But since the restart and since the last sort of 6 weeks, they've just massively improved. I do think other teams have looked worse than them. I will say that. And I think, like, when I look at other teams like Forest who can't win a game home or away, if Bournemouth win a game, it's so valuable. Do you know what I mean? So for me, they're the surprise package this year. Like, if they do stay up, it is a great achievement. I will say that. But let's get into it with this next topic of conversation as we talk about Bournemouth. And it's this. You lads the other day or the other week turned around and said to me, if we draw this game, it doesn't matter. Like, it's still a decent result. If we win the game, in my opinion, we're safe. Like, even though we're not mathematically safe, I look at it that West Ham will have enough points in the bag as a cushion to guarantee Premier League survival. West Ham would have to go on an absolute unreal losing streak, and teams would have to literally improve massively to sort of catch West Ham. What are you saying about this, Alfie?
Look, I think a draw wouldn't be the end of the world. I think for both teams, it would be 1 point closer to safety and 1 point away from the relegation zone. If we draw, we'd essentially be 7 points away from relegation because we're essentially 6 points away now with the goal difference, which is looking really good at the moment compared to some of the other teams. Obviously, a win would pretty much wrap it. It would put us 9 points away, providing that all the teams down there don't win, which I don't think they will. So, yeah, a win would pretty much make us safe, to be honest. And I fancy us at home against Liverpool on Wednesday as well. I fancy us to get a point there. So, obviously, a win would be nice away, but we've only won 2 games away all season, so I've struggled to see it, if I'm honest.
I don't know, mate. I look at it a bit different. West Ham, at the minute, are flying. Let's be real. They've lost 1 game. That's the 5-1 defeat, from what I've gathered in the last 5 or 8 or whatever it is. I see a stat the other day. Like, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Every game they're unbeaten in like 8 or 9 games, and the only one they've lost is Newcastle. I expect West Ham to go there, especially after the second half performance yesterday, and go through Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are a good side, but I think we're a better side than them. I think we've got better players than them. It's going to be interesting this sort of next 7 days, or 7 to 9 days, because West Ham have got Bournemouth, Liverpool, Palace, and the Liverpool and Palace game is very close together. Like Liverpool on the Wednesday, Palace on the Saturday lunchtime. So I would like to see West Ham go there and attack this game from the front, like not muck about, just go there, and even I would settle for a 1-0 right now. Just get the job done and get out of there. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that West Ham can get to the Palace game and it looks a bit more rosier. Do you know what I mean? The Liverpool game, Liverpool's going to be a tough game, whatever happens. Do you know what I mean? Like, Liverpool are very hot and cold at the minute. They're either good or they're awful. And if we catch them when they're awful, then we beat them. So I don't know, mate. I look at this a bit different. I think a point wouldn't be good enough at Bournemouth. I think if West Ham have to go there and win, especially the way we're playing at the minute. Like after the Arsenal game and obviously the game last night, I look at us and I think, you know what? Yeah, we should go there and have a go.
I'd like us to win, but if we don't win, it's not the end of the world, essentially.
But if we don't win, and I'll give you a few scenarios. If we don't win and we draw the game, but we lose against Liverpool, what does the Palace game mean then?
It probably means we might have to go and get a point or a win. I to be honest, I do think we'll be fine. I'm looking at it. We've got 8 fixtures left. We probably only need to win 1, absolute max 2. So I'm really not stressing. If we do beat Bournemouth, lovely stuff. If we don't, I think the teams below us are too bad anyway to catch us.
I will get to the comments shortly. For me, I think beat Bournemouth, Liverpool game becomes a free hit. like the Arsenal game was. Even though Liverpool are bad this year, you still got to respect them. You have to, because they're a decent side. They've got some decent players. And then the Palace game is a game where we've done all right at Palace in recent history, but they're flying at the minute under Hodgson, right? So for me, if we could come out of next week, so Sunday to Saturday, with if we could come out of that with 5 points, I'll be over the moon. Anything less than that, so that's a win and 2 draws. Anything less than that, I don't think will be great. But one thing I don't want West Ham to do is be sitting on their hands and thinking that they're already safe before they have done. I think if you go and beat Bournemouth on Sunday, then for me, you are literally clearing away from the relegation zone. Do you know what I'm saying? And the pressure is completely off then. And once West Ham have no pressure, they're a completely different side, in my opinion. So, yeah. Let's get to some comments. Let's have a look. Stevie says, I agree, James. Win on Sunday and we'll only need a couple of draws. I agree on that. At the end of the day, we must not lose to Bournemouth. We can't afford to be losing to teams in and around us. See, valid point there, isn't it? Really, if we lose to Bournemouth, just say, for example, we did lose to Bournemouth, and then we play Liverpool in the week, and we don't get the positive result there, then the Palace game becomes massive again, doesn't it, Alf?
I think if we lose to Bournemouth, I'll be really sad because it derails our momentum, and I think we've turned the corner. So it'll be a bit disappointing to see. If we play really well and lose to Bournemouth, I honestly don't think I'll be that bothered. I'll be a little bit bothered because we've lost, and it means that we'll have to pick up points from other games. But as I say, I think the teams in and around us are crap. I just trust over 8 games, we will have more than enough to get more points than these sides.
I'm going to be honest, it would not surprise me in the slightest if West Ham was to go and lose against Bournemouth. They fucking beat Liverpool on the Wednesday. It just would not surprise me at all. It's just the West Ham way. Always turn up against the big teams and not against the little teams. But we will see what happens with that one. Right, let's get to starting 11. Where are we? We're right here. Team lineup. Alf, obviously, last night's team was probably the strongest team on paper, isn't it? Really, that he had at his disposal. Apart from Fabianski in there for Areola, you'd probably say that's his strongest team. What are you expecting on Sunday? Because I'm expecting a lot of changes on Sunday. Don't know why. I don't think he will go with that team, right? That same team again. I can see him mixing it up. So what you saying?
I think Creswell will come back in for Emerson for an away game in the Premier League. I think Creswell deserves to come back in as well. I think he's impressed lately compared to Emerson. Possibly Benrahma being dropped, but I don't think so.
I think he does get dropped, mate. If I was to be honest, yeah, I do. I really do. I thought he was awful yesterday. I said it last night to you. I looked back at it again. He weren't good at all. I don't think there's gonna be like a big fire sale of changes, but I can see quite a lot. I can see Fabianski coming in for me. That's a given. I think Emerson was poor last night. I think people like the first half he was terrible. Second half, the whole team was a lot better, but he wasn't good.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with Emerson and Benrahma. I thought the left-hand side was quite poor yesterday, so I wouldn't be surprised if Creswell comes in and maybe Fornals or Cornet, but then again, it doesn't look like Cornet can start a match and he can't finish a one-on-one either. So,
would you change the centre halves on Sunday? Like change one of them? Like would you take Aguerd out or play Aguerd and a Bonner, for instance?
If it was up to me, no, I wouldn't. But Kehrer done okay against Arsenal. He didn't play yesterday, so I wouldn't be surprised if Kehrer played against Bournemouth. But then again, I think Kehrer suits home games more just because of the crowd, and he's a bit of a frail player. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's a good chance Bonner could come in for a game and we could play in a similar way we played against Fulham, or has Moyes turned a corner where we're trying to play more attacking football now? I don't know. We'll have to see.
I don't know. Let's go through this team lineup, me and you right now. Goalkeeper Fabianski. You probably agree on that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fabianski. Left hand side, I'm going to go with you. I think Emerson weren't that good, so I think he will go with Cresswell. Right back, Kafal, or can you see him changing it around again?
Caval, yeah.
Yeah. Do Zuma and Aguirre play together again in the space of 3 days? I don't think they do.
Maybe.
I really, I, I don't know. I don't know. Let's just say that they do play together. So Zuma and Aguirre. Yeah. Thomas Souček, start
Yeah.
or
Yeah, I'd start. Yeah.
I think this wouldn't be a bad game for Flynn. You know, I will take him out and put Flynn in with myself, and like he's got the energy. I think Thomas Souček's had a game the other night. I think the Liverpool game is where you're going to need more energy in the middle of the park instead of having like someone. I think if West Ham get the ball against Bournemouth, they're going to have a lot more of the ball than Bournemouth. I think personally. So I wouldn't play Souček in this game. It's no agenda. It's just I look at it that West Ham should have more of the ball in this game, and do we need his work rate? Declan will probably play. Paqueta will probably play. Then the 3-man attack, Alf. What are you saying?
If it was up to me, I'd play Bowen, Antonio, and Fornals. I'd play the perfect. I think the perfect away team for West Ham is all the hard workers and the people who are good on the counter attack. So I'd start Fornals, Souček, Cresswell. I don't know whether I'd start again because you want to be counter attacking. I've just named in Fornals, Souček, and Cresswell. I've just named 3 players who suit playing away from home, but none of them are that quick. Again, is quite quick. So, do I play him or do you go for like Kehrer or Bonner? I'm not sure in that left centre half position, but yeah, I would go for Fornals, Antonio, and Bowen tomorrow. And then I think I'll put Rama back in for Liverpool.
Would you play Antonio in this game? Or would you leave him and let him have a bit of a break and let him come on for half hour and go with Ings?
I don't like if we do play Ings, I want to see 2 up front because I really dislike Ings playing up front on his own. I dislike Danny Ings as a player nowadays, to be honest. I think I'd genuinely rather see Mabama up front, but that won't happen, especially when he's got the Youth Cup final on Tuesday. So yeah.
That is true, yeah. So no one's going to be risk for that, are they? Before I move on to sort of predictions and then we'll get some questions and all that. Cornet. What's going on with Cornet, man? Because I think this is the time for him to play now.
Obviously he's not playing. He's got a lot of good attributes. He's quick. He's technically good. He can hit the ball hard, so he's got good ball striking. His movement's not bad, although he does get caught offside a lot. But his finishing in front of goal at the moment and composure in front of goal, you can tell is a bit rusty. I don't know whether he's still a bit injured or what, but I would start him for this game. I think he'd be a good starting player in an away game in the Premier League against Bournemouth. So
where would you start him? What position?
Obviously, I just said I'd play Fornals left wing, but if Cornet was in contention to start, I think I'd start Cornet left wing and maybe move Fornals into the midfield. I want to see both of them start, really, to be honest. I want to see both of them getting some game time because if we suffer a few injuries, we need players that are ready to come straight in. And at the moment, whenever Fornals and Cornet are coming on, they look a little, you can tell they've not had a lot of game time.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what he goes with. I do think Cornet needs to start playing some more minutes, not 5 minutes. Like I think he needs to be playing like a half or an hour, like just to let him go. Basically, do you know what I'm saying? For me, I agree with you, mate. His finishing is terrible. Like at Burnley last year, he was really, really good. And this year, I know he's had an injury and everything, but it's like he don't know how to put the ball in the back of the net in key moments. But I want to see more of him, though. I will say that. Right, let's get down to predictions, Alf. Let me know what you're saying about Bournemouth. Give me your thoughts.
predictions. As I say, we've only won 2 Premier League away games, but we did beat Fulham away in our last away game. I think Bournemouth, despite the name and despite the fact that people might think they're the easiest team in the Premier League, they're not. I think they've looked good lately. I really like Gary O'Neill. I think even when he came in at the start, he was getting unlucky. He was losing games where they were going 2-0 up and losing 3-2 and stuff like that. For example, against Spurs and Arsenal. And I think he's done a great job. For a manager with the squad he's got in the bottom half of the table, he's doing a good job, in my opinion. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw.
I don't know. This is a tough one. The West Ham I saw last night, they're starting to vibe. That's one thing I will say. They are starting to vibe. That second half performance last night against that side was one of the best second half performances I've seen for a long time. Probably since COVID days when we had Lingard and everyone was vibing. I expect West Ham to win at Bournemouth, mate, if I'm honest. I don't expect West Ham to go there and draw. I think if the game pans out the way it is, Bournemouth are going to come on to us, because they're the home team. They're going to have the incentive. I think it might work in West Ham's favour to play counter-attacking football. So it would be nice to see Cornet and rest a few of these big hitters. This game is more important than the Liverpool one, in my opinion. I think if we win this game, the Liverpool game becomes another free hit. And whatever happens, sort of thing. I'm going to say a win. West Ham are starting to slowly go back to the team that they once were last season. Over the last 2 games, for me personally, the Arsenal game, the second half against Arsenal, we were brilliant. Up until once they missed that penalty, West Ham were absolutely top draw. Last night, yet again, they go a goal down and they can't keep going a goal down. But that second half again, West Ham smashed this team to bits. Literally all over the place. The other team was. So I'm actually going to go for a 3-1 West Ham win. I think West Ham are going to turn up in this one, and I think the vibe is good at West Ham now. They're starting to believe in their own ability. And I said it the other week, the players have got it in them, 100%. It's just down to the players to express themselves and have the confidence to be consistent.
Yeah,
and I think they are being consistent now. Right. If someone can tell me the last time West Ham lost other than Newcastle, I can't really remember the last time West Ham lost.
You know what, as well, James? Moyes got a lot of hate on that Newcastle game. But we said it on the day, to be fair. We both said it. It wasn't like the Brighton game. The Brighton game, we lost 4-0, but we were torn apart. We was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Newcastle, there was periods of the game that we actually played really well, but we made some individual errors and suddenly the game escaped us.
It was more embarrassing, the Newcastle game. Don't get me wrong, losing to Brighton away 4-0 is hard. Don't get me wrong, it is hard, but we just don't beat Brighton. Yeah. But the Newcastle game, especially after the first sort of 5 minutes when we started good, we hit the post, and everything, then it was just we was for some reason everything we touched just turned to shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Every pass we done was wrong. Every error cost us a goal, and it was just basically we just couldn't wait for that 90 minutes to finish. Do you know what I'm saying? So I am going to say 3-1 on it, and I do believe West Ham are slowly going back to the West Ham they once were. Alf, anything else you want to add, mate?
Good question. Is there anything else I'd like to add?
I'll ask you a question. Here's a question for you. Are you surprised? Because Moyes last night, when that third goal went in, it was that was relief, but he was. Do you think the fan base? I'm going to say this quite openly, right? I'm on fucking Twitter, right? People are watching it. I don't care. But do you think the fan base needs to get behind the team there? All of us. Yeah, not even mention about Moyes. And basically leave this to the end of the season. Let's just focus on West Ham now. Because it just seems like when West Ham are together openly, they are a very, very powerful unit. When they're divided, there's a lot of sections of the fan base that are just Moyes in, Moyes out. Do you know what I'm saying? And let's be honest, he's got us to another semi-final. Yeah. And I will be real when I say this right now. Last night, that second half display was powerful. Whatever he done at half time, I don't know, but they come out like a completely different side. They come out like a top six side, not a bottom six side. Do you know what I'm saying? So, what do you make on that? What I've just said?
Yeah, I think we just have to get behind the team now. As I say, I think we're going to stay up. Now we've just got to get behind the team, get behind the manager, and try and get that win in the Conference League. Because, as I said at the start of this stream, there's a lot left to be optimistic about this season. This season's far from over, despite how crap we've been in the Premier League. If we finish 16th and we win the Conference League, it's a brilliant season. And someone made a great point to me on Twitter earlier. They said to me, nobody, like the trophies we've won in the past, for example, the FA Cups we've won, the Intertoto Cup, all of that, nobody can name, or very few people can sit there and name where we finished in the league in those seasons, because nobody cares. It's the trophy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in 10 years' time, we won't really look back and think, oh, we were so poor in the Premier League that year. We'll think we won a trophy. And that's all that matters. At the end of the day, the main thing in football is as long as you maintain your league position and stay in the league where all the money is, what we're trying to do is win trophies. Otherwise, what the hell are we playing for?
I hear that. That's a great comment. I will say that whoever put that comment to you, that's tweet of the day, mate, in my opinion. No one does look at the where we finish in the league. They look at what you've done in the league, like after, if you haven't done anything in the sort of cups. I'm confident with West Ham now, though. I don't know why. I've just got this feeling. Like last night, I was bricking it last night. And I was speaking to my mate, a good mate of mine I've known for a long, long time. And I was sitting there watching the game with him. And he turned around, he said to me, this second half display is something that I've not seen from West Ham for a long time. Long time. Like they were fighting for the shirt. The last two games, them players have been fighting for the shirt. Whether or not they're with the manager or not is a different thing. Yeah, but one thing they are doing is fighting for the claret and blue, and that's all we want. That's all we want. Like last night, I don't think anyone was particularly worried when when it was 1-1. But that second half, I can't stress enough how good that second half actually was. I make the person right who said about that on Twitter. Like it doesn't really matter where we finish, but we had this discussion on E20 for a long time. If we finish 12th and we win the conference, that's a good season. But some people don't look at it as a good season. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't get how you can't look at it. It always comes back to that. How is that not a good season? What we're trying to do as a team. Well, you tell me, James, when we start the league season, usually, what are we aiming to do in the league?
For me, as a West Ham fan, I look at West Ham and go top 10 finish every season. Like that's. I don't think I'm being unreasonable in that. I think with the amount of fans we have, the players that we have at disposal, a top 10 finish for West Ham United should not be out the realms of possibility. Yeah. If we can get to a quarter-final, semi-final, final of a tournament, trophy, then so be it. Right, I would accept that and all. But as a Premier League side, West Ham should be aiming for top 10. Now, do you know what I mean? You can look at that any way you like. But West Ham should not be fighting in relegation territory right now. That's one thing I will say, and they have done for a long time. But I'm going to say this. I think the league does lie a little bit because the league looks so close. And if West Ham could go and just get a win on Sunday against Bournemouth, it changes the whole complexion of the game, in my opinion. Like it makes us look. We could actually end up finishing above Chelsea the way Chelsea are carrying on. And do you know what I'm saying? And someone said that. Someone said that to me the other day. 28-1, James should have been on. Let's get to some comments to see what everyone's saying in here. Ghent is a pub side, and everyone's acting like we beat Man City. I disagree, I think, mate. Because let's be honest, we've been a pub side for most of the fucking season, right? And we struggled to beat teams this season. You've got to give the players some credit where credit's due. That's the only thing I can say. What do you make of that, Alf?
I think that's ridiculous.
I thought I had it over to you. I will take a cup win, Premier League safety, but need a manager change next season. I agree on that. I do. Alf, I want to ask you this before we wrap this up, yeah? Because this is an interesting question. If West Ham do get to the final, but they don't win it, yeah, and they are safe in the Premier League, how will you look back at this season? What would you rate this season out of 10 if West Ham do get to the final, but don't win the competition?
I'd probably give it a 6. We don't reach finals very often. Our league form has been abysmal, but at the end of the day, just seeing like the comment from Steve about thing is Moyes has to win this cup. If not being in 2 semis is a failure. I think Moyes is right with what he says about how he's raised the expectations, because realistically, we're West Ham United back-to-back semi-finals, whether you like it or not, is, in my opinion, an achievement. And if we do go and win this trophy, then league form does become irrelevant, because not only do we win a trophy, we'd qualify for Europe next season. So, yeah, if we win the trophy, I couldn't care less about what happens in the Premier League or what happens next season. I'd just go on about that trophy win for about 10 years, I think.
So would I. It's an interesting one, because if he does get to a semi-final, and just say, for example, he fouls Moyes, then he has failed, isn't he? Really, like he hasn't learned from last season. Like I don't think he does fail. I think West Ham do get to the final, and in 90 minutes, anything can happen. Let's be honest. I think West Ham will beat AZ. I think AZ are a technical side, but they love to come forward. And if they do come forward, if we're defensively sound and we hit them on the break, if we could go back to playing that we used to play years ago, like as in like the counter-attacking, free-flowing football that we used to play, we will go through AZ that much, 100%. Yeah. Like my money is firmly on West Ham to qualify, like over AZ, over two legs. I look at it and I look at them and I just think we've got the better players. They've got Matt Ryan in goal, for fuck's sake, who used to play for Brighton and Arsenal. Half decent Australian goalkeeper, but I'll be honest with you, like he saved them some penalties yesterday. But I fancy him. I really fancy this. I really do.
And if we win it, I've got a question for you quickly. If we win it, even if he has to go, does Moyes go down as a West Ham legend for you if he wins the trophy?
Well, you've done me on the Friday afternoon, mate. You've done me with one of your great questions. Does he become a legend at West Ham?
For me, yeah.
I think you're going to have to, aren't you? If he brings us a trophy, a European trophy that we haven't won since the 70s, I think it is. Yeah.
Damien agrees. Yeah.
He's going to have to go down as a West Ham managerial legend. He's going to have to. It's going to be hard for people to admit that. He's going to have to go down. It is, though, isn't it, Alf? You know it. Yeah. People are going to have to find it very they're going to be saying it through gritted teeth. And I see something on Twitter earlier on from a Villa fan, yeah. And I will be honest. They was looking at it and going, look at the vibe that West Ham have got there. Like we can't wait to sort of, even if it's the Conference League, to be in that. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't give a fuck what any other team or whatever other person says about that Conference League. For me, if we win that Conference League, that's a great achievement for West Ham. Do you know what I'm saying? Like from where we've come from to where we are now, it took a long time. Don't get me wrong, and we've been in the stadium 7 years. To get to 2 semi-finals, and then if we get to the final and we actually win the competition, you've got to say to him, he's done his job, and he's took us to a level that we've never reached before, and he's won something for us that none of us would never see. Do you know what I'm saying?
You think you'll cry if he wins it, James?
100%, mate. I'll be gone. My life will be over completely. 100%. Like I can die. I can actually die a happy man. Let's put it like that. Will he go from Mr. Moyes to Sir Moyes? John,
on the train yesterday, and yeah, he will. If he wins, I'm going to start calling him Sir Moyes.
You are a fucking prick, mate. I love you, brother. People won't call him a legend, but on paper, winning a trophy, we have to give him that. Really, if people can't call him a legend for winning the trophy in X amount of time. That West Ham haven't won a trophy in 43 years. Listen, I'm not Moyes' biggest fan now. Me and you've had bare rows about Moyes. Let's be real. But you've got to give him credit. If if he does go up another level and he does get us to the final and we do win the competition, you're going to have to go, you know what, fair play. Like last night, I said it on Twitter. I said fair play to him. Do you know what I mean? That second half display was something special. But it ain't over, though. That's one thing I do want to say is I don't want to see West Ham thinking that they've already won the competition before they have. Like last season, we've done it against Frankfurt. The home leg was like a party. Like, we've got to take it. You've got to take it serious, like the home leg. Like last season, the Frankfurt vibe was like, it was like a disco in there. When it needs to be, like, we need to be on it. Do you know what I mean? Because the game. We could lose the game in the first leg. Do you know what I'm saying? We can't win the tie in the first leg, but we could lose the tie in the first leg. Do you know what I'm saying? If we act like idiots. So, you know, Alf, any more questions for me or the chat? What are you doing? What are you doing tonight, Alf? Anyway, anything interesting?
Not really. Probably just go to the pub.
Well, you're going to the pub, are you, tonight?
I do have one interesting thing to say. Well, it's not interesting, but I think if Moyes wins the trophy, right, and then leaves, there should be no one calling him rude names or disrespecting him. I think that will just prove that you don't like him as a person. Because as a manager,
do you think, Alf, if he does win the trophy, the next manager's got a mountain to climb, but like to achieve the same again? Can you see what I'm getting at? Like,
on paper, obviously people will probably prefer this new manager's style of football, whoever it is. But on paper, it's going to be pretty hard to beat what Moyes has done. He's back-to-back Europe. Well, 3 in a row Europe if he wins the trophy. And
right.
I mean, that will be like career mode sort of vibes.
Stay off FIFA, people. Stay off FIFA. Do you know what I mean? For me, I look at it and I think if he does win the trophy, then I don't like to say it, but how can you sack the geezer? You know what I mean? How can you want to let him go? He should go, and I want him to go. If he wins the trophy, how can you sack him and bring someone in who? What's their aim at West Ham?
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Do you see what I'm saying? If West Ham go and win the trophy, does that manager who comes in, whoever it is, however high profile he is, what is his what's his fucking bullet points? What's he got to achieve in that season? What would you think he would have to achieve in that season?
He'd have to, I don't know. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. He'd probably just aim to stabilise the club. I couldn't tell you. If we win the trophy, then I don't think I'll be thinking a lot about next season for a while. I'll just be devastated when Moyes leaves, and I think I'd just tell everyone I told you so.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're not banned on Twitter, brother, that's one thing I will say. Alf,
someone's asked me to do it. I'll do it. Go on then.
And the mouse is back. Yeah. If Sully hasn't sacked him with a poor run, will he sack him after winning a trophy? If we do, what do you make of that?
He probably will, because it'll be like the end of the road. I reckon they've got like an agreement that this is the end of the road. But if he doesn't sack him, I don't blame him, because West Ham United have not won a trophy in 40 plus years. So I'm not really bothered if he gets sacked at the end of the season or not. Even if we go down next year, Mr. Moyes has won a trophy.
I don't want us to go down, don't get me wrong, but he has won us. Well, he does win us a trophy, but do you know what I'm saying? Alf, thank you very much for coming on. I really do appreciate it, mate.
That's all right.
No worries at all. Right, I'm going to say this before I wrap up. I'm considering taking a bit of leave away from the channel for personal reasons for me. I'm a bit drained, and I've got a lot going on in behind the scenes, which is personal to me. The boys will be about to do the usual stuff on here, I will say that. And the show will go on without me for a short period of time. I've got a lot to sort out, and you know what? I can't do everything, mate. Just can't do it. So listen, the boys will be back Sunday, 8 o'clock. Lucas will probably be around for that. He will cover that with the lads, and you know, it is what it is. But listen, go and enjoy your Friday, whatever you're doing, and take care of yourselves, man, out there. West Ham have slowly return back to the team that they once were. And how good it is to see West Ham like literally winning games and performing to a high level. That's been Alfie. I've been James.
One thing before we go, I'm going to start the chant. I want to see people doing it in the chat before we end.
What's that, mate?
Got Super David Moyes.
Anyway, have a good one. Take care.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.